I was talking to a buddy the other day who was talking about this idea of like suffering and, pain. And I'm realizing more and more that disappointment is just wishing things were different than they are. And if you
Yeah.
can accept that things are the way they are, which means sometimes you don't want to work.
Happiness is a choice. It's easier. I was thinking this last night after my first show. I'm like, oh, I'm in a good mood. That was a good show. This is fun. Great. Oh, I'm so happy. Happiness is the choice. And then you're like, the day before, I'm texting my wife. I'm like, I'm so depressed. I need to be off the ship. And in that moment, it's like, I can't choose to be happy. I don't want to be happy right now. I just want to be miserable for a few hours.
That is the voice of my buddy Nick Paul. Nick's one of my oldest and dearest friends in the entertainment business, and we sat down to debrief and talk about this incredible week we had performing at the Magic Castle in Hollywood. It's a fun conversation. We get into, if you're a performer, we get into kind of like some nitty gritty about the behind the scenes of what it's like doing what you love for a living, kind of reminiscent of my old podcast about to break. So if you enjoyed that, I think you're really going to enjoy this. Nick and I are going to be performing at the world famous Comedy and Magic Club on June 26th. So announcing that here right now, June 26th, Nick and I will be doing a 2-person show at the Comedy and Magic Club. If you're hearing this the day it comes out, I will be May 15th at the Comedy and Magic Club doing a spot on Moranzio Vance's headlining that night. It's going to be a great show. And then I'm home till Monday. Monday I go to the Oaks for a retreat with my buddies Bob Goff and Mike Foster. That's going to be a really fun time there till Wednesday. And then Thursday we head to Lake Tahoe. I'm in Lake Tahoe May 22nd through 27th. If you're anywhere near the Lake Tahoe area, let me know, because I'm going to be running material that I'm going to be filming next month in Chicago. That's right. June 19th through the 22nd, I'm at Chicago Magic Lounge, and I'm going to be filming a new half-hour special there. So again, more breaking news. Super excited. Glad to sit down with my buddy Nick Paul. This is a really fun conversation, and Nick's just one of the best dudes ever. So enjoy this episode with my buddy Nick Paul.
Hey everybody, welcome to Chasing Wonder. Yes, that was the name of my first special, but I liked it so much, it's the name of this show. It's me, Taylor. I'm here in the World Headquarters, and I'm talking to someone today who is not only one of my dearest friends in the entire world, but we shared some of the most intimate moments in this shed in my backyard. It's Nick Paul.
It was all completely consensual.
Yeah. I realized as I was saying it sounded a little more exciting than it was. We used to do a show from here.
We did. It was lovely. It got us through the pandemic. But you and I really are Zach Braff and Donald Faison in many regards. We have such a romance to our relationship, and both of our wives just accept it.
Yeah. Well, Katie said yesterday, because, for those who are just following you and I's bromance, we just did the Magic Castle together. We did 27 shows. Well, I did 27 shows. You were smart and said no to the brunch shows, so you did 21 shows. But yeah, Katie said yesterday, she's like, you and Nick should do more things together. She's like, you guys should go on tour together. You'd have so much fun.
What's crazy is I told my wife this. I'm like, because I suffer from like really intense anxiety before travel and shows. It's like, it's bad. And I'm on the vacations and stuff, but sometimes you're like, I don't think this does anything. But I had zero anxiety last week, and even yesterday I did 2 shows on this ship. And it's funny, because of doing all those shows with you and being in silly fun mode and just not giving a shit in the best possible way. Like, none of this matters. It's right. Let's just go have fun. I kind of took that with me yesterday, and I did 2 solo shows. It's funny, after doing 21 shows, you're like, I only have to do 2 shows? This is great.
Isn't that funny? Everything's perspective, right?
Yeah, your stamina it's like doing the Olympics or something. Your stamina is built up. You're like, oh, I could do another marathon. No problem.
We did the shows with Kaylee and Chase Hasty. It was so fun. And my favorite part of our whole week was not the shows themselves, which were great, but it was you and I. Here's what a lot of people don't know is going on in show business, is they think you go on stage and you do your thing, and then you walk off stage and you go relax a little bit, but not when you're doing a variety show. A variety show, it's all hands on deck. It's like summer camp backstage. And so you and I were on stage, and then as soon as we got off stage, we'd be moving props for Chase and Kaylee, and we would just try to make each other laugh. And it was
There was a moment, Brent from Magic Apple, sponsorship pending, just called it out. It was such a I think you should leave moment of I was pulling one of Chase's props. It's like, I don't know. I think it was a 10 or 11:30 show. I don't remember now, but probably 10 o'clock. But it was like we were both just so exhausted, and I wasn't even doing a bit. I physically couldn't move, and I just said, I'm so tired.
Yeah, but the timing.
And you lost it.
Oh, I lost it because Chase is on stage giving this very sincere monologue about like magic's different things to different people. To some people, it's this. He's like, to me, it's my job. It's my passion. It's my everything. And at that exact moment, I look at you on the floor, on your knees, pushing this prop, and you just timed it perfectly. You're like, I'm just so tired.
I think us being in suits too, and just like sitting in darkness, something about a grown man in a suit sitting on the floor, lying on the floor is just, there's something broken about it.
Oh my gosh. And then that was the moment. I think that was the moment when I literally had to run and put my face in the corner of the curtains because I couldn't stop laughing. And
Well, the other issue was we did this great drum set trick, but I needed to hear music, so you brought a monitor, and I had the monitor like cranked up right by my stool, and I turned it off during that part of the show, and I didn't realize how quiet it gets backstage. So Jason's having this nice little moment, and the audience, we confirmed it with friends in the audience, they could hear us giggling, and Chase is a sweetheart. I don't think he got mad at us once, except for that moment. That was the first time I saw like a little bit of rage in him, because we destroyed that beautiful, like, intimate piece he's trying to create.
oh, it's part of the fun of doing these longer shows is like, it becomes so repetitious because you're doing the same show repeatedly, but it becomes fun when you just try to like mess each other up and goof off backstage.
I realize I don't know if you ever did high school theater, but we would do like 3 shows, a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and like you're working for 2 months to do this show. In my case, it was like Little Shop of Horrors or something.
Yeah.
And you get, and just it's all or nothing, and you're so into it, and it all means nothing. And no matter what your family's gonna say, that was very good, even if it wasn't. And that's kind of what it becomes. You're just in, like you said, schoolboy mode, which is funny.
So fun. It was so fun. I cannot wait. I did a great event this last week coming off of the castle, but I was by myself for 4 days at a hotel, and I was just like, this is not as fun as just being with buddies.
I've been sitting at sea this is my 7th day. We finally stopped in Mexico today. I get off tomorrow, but then I get back on a ship the next day.
Where did you get on? If you
My life is so hard. I'm following my dreams. But I've been staring out the window for 6 days at sea. I got on in Kona, Hawaii. Flew to Hawaii, got on, and then just went straight back to this side of the world.
Now, does the boat end in LA?
Yeah, thank goodness. So I get to see my wife. Don't have to fly somewhere, but I have to fly out the next day I got like a couple more weeks of ships, and then I have a nice break.
We've done that as civilians, not performing, but just passengers on the ship. We've done that Hawaii trip from LA to Hawaii.
Oh, you have? Okay.
Oh yeah, and it's like 4 or 5 sea days, and you forget. It's just an insane reminder of how massive the ocean is.
For sure.
I mean, you're just 5 days of nothing.
I really wanted to open my show because these people are on. This is like a 16-day cruise. I got on halfway through,
Yep.
and I really wanted to. I was trying to figure out the joke that didn't sound mean, but I just there was nothing I could write. But it was just like, you guys know airplanes exist, right? We can get to Hawaii in under 6 hours, and you're
Well,
taking 6 days.
I mean, that's the isn't that vacation, right? Vacation's all about being inefficient, right?
Yeah, but I'm a very efficient person, which you know, I'm a very anal efficient person. So, like, for me to be like, let's get this done.
I was at an event recently with it was an event that was at a place. I'm being so vague. I was at an event at a place where a lot of very wealthy people stay. And it's interesting, once you have a bunch of money, you stop being so efficient. Like, things like we're going to move very slowly, go into the thing. And then you see people who are like young and hustling and trying to just get it all figured out. And it's like, go, 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 go. And then the older you get, or the wealthier you get, I guess it's just like, what are we in a hurry for?
Yeah, I'm excited to post it. I've been taking secret videos of people from behind on ships, like as they stop in front of me and walk slowly. It's fascinating how everybody does this, and it's the title of the video is going to be called "How to Get Somewhere on a Cruise Ship" or "How to Not Get Somewhere on a Cruise Ship." But
That's funny.
yeah,
I always think that about like the TSA line, because like
yeah,
when pre-check first started, it was so efficient because it was just people traveling full time, and then it got to a thing where like if you get a credit card, they offer you pre-check or whatever, and now I feel like there needs to be like a speed and agility test for the pre-check people. Like we should also ask, why are you flying? Do you need to be there?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, now it's not at every airport, but digital ID is big. Yeah, I'll look for the digital ID line, which it just
Yeah.
scans your face, and then that puts you in front of the other TSA pre people.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
But yeah, there's sometimes I'll look at people in TSA pre line. I was like, you don't deserve to be here. I've done a lot of work to be here, and you just somehow passed your evaluation.
It is funny how
It is good that you have to like physically go have a meeting, pretend
Right.
meeting with these officers, get approved. Like you can't just do it all online. So I think that helps. Like you have to be somewhat of an efficient person to decide on a Wednesday that I'm going to go to the airport.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna go talk to TSA when I'm not flying, so that I don't have to talk to TSA when I am flying. I like that we just spent 7 days straight with each other, and we said, let's wait till we're thousands of miles apart to record.
Well, you asked me to record in person, and I said,
You said nope.
I did the thing you would do. I know you so well that if you were traveling a bunch,
Oh, I would have
and
said the same.
you would have been like, no, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. That honestly, it made me happy, man. For you, like as a friend, when you said no to doing the podcast in person, I was like, you know what? We're getting better.
He's growing.
We're healing.
I think that's such a whatever your job is, it's important to. It might just be what we were just talking about, getting slower and less efficient, but it's also like just being
Yeah.
okay, just being like, no, I'm gonna do nothing today, or I need to rest.
Yeah, man. I recorded a reel that I feel like is on the edge of being too cheesy or youth pastory, but I feel like it's a good one, but I haven't posted it because it feels a little too thoughtful. But it's about that whole idea of like hitting the pause button, man.
Yeah, I mean that is your brand in many ways, former youth pastor. So
I found a new Instagram this week. Somebody created an Instagram called Pastors with Props, and it's my new favorite thing. It's just like some old guy in a suit climbing 2 ladders at once. It's amazing. It's amazing. Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of magic on there.
But it did feel a little too close to home with us using props as magicians.
Yeah, I get it, but we're not tricking people. The other good one is maybe you sent it to me or my wife Kristen did. It was just pastors and expensive sneakers. That's the whole
Preachers and sneakers.
Preachers and sneakers.
Yeah.
And you look at these sneakers are like all of them start at like $200.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah, it's nuts. So tell me about the other entertainment on the ship. Who do you have this week?
I'm here with fake Elvis, and I'm here with
I,
the
lo- I love that anytime there's an impersonator, you call them, like last week you were on with fake Lionel Richie.
yeah, and I got to experience. If he hears this, I'm sorry. You're a very nice man, but it was a very funny experience. We kind of did a trade-off where we shared an Uber to the airport, and I was like, "Don't worry, I'll get you into the Delta Sky Club. It's fine." But we get there, and he doesn't tell me that he's flying Southwest. And in his mind, you can still get into the Delta Sky Club, but Delta is like, "No, you're not coming in our freaking Sky Club if you're not flying Delta," which
Right.
I kind of agree with.
It's understandable, right?
I mean, yeah,
It's like Target. If you like go shop at Walmart, but then go to the Target to use the bathroom, they're like, "Hey, we're gonna bum into the deal."
yeah, you're not getting 5% at Walmart.
Right.
I got a red card. That's not happening. Anyway, I got to see him just lose his mind, and I was just like slowly inching towards the free hors d'oeuvres. I was like, "All right, see you later." This is a man who I hadn't talked to the whole week except for like the day before, and it was very funny. And just watching, just because I had seen him dressed as Lionel Richie the night before,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I'm witnessing him just kind of lose his mind. But all I can picture is him dressed as Lionel Richie. Um,
How do you dress like? I'm gonna look him up. We'll talk offline. I'm gonna get his name and I'm gonna watch some videos. One of
yes,
my
he's
favorite
great.
things
He's
now is
fantastic.
watching cruise ship acts that didn't know they were being recorded. It's pretty
You've
great.
sent me a few. I will not name names. That are just like I think it's those. It's actually those are good videos to watch because I'm so not confident about myself on ships, and then I go watch those. I go, oh, my show is great. I'm really good at this.
That's funny. That's a thing with entertainers. We talk about this so much, but like, it seems like from one show to the next, you'll be like, "I need to get out of the business. I don't have what it takes. I don't know what I'm doing." And then the very next show, you'll be like, "Well, they're probably gonna make a statue of me. That was so good."
Well, that was my. You do two, typically do two on here, and I did a 7:30 and a 9:30 in the theater. My 7:30 great partial standing O, which is always feels good because I don't really force it. I kind of just I've gotten better at just standing there for a second just to kind of
Yeah.
trigger it, and if it's not happening, I get off stage. But the 9:30 was like barely half full. I'm
Yeah.
cutting stuff. It's half the people are literally were asleep in the show. I called out two different guys for falling asleep in the show. I woke up
That's
in
kind of
panic and
fun.
like, "Sir, give me a 3-digit number." And he's like looking around. Like, "I know, don't worry, the ship's not sinking. You're fine. It's okay."
What are you doing in my dream?
Yeah.
I talked to another magician recently. We keep telling stories and we're like, no names. But he was talking about how he gets standing O's every show. And I'm like, no, you don't. Like, he's like, well, yeah. And it's like, every show. And then I watched a show and he straight up like asks for one
Sure.
before.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, that doesn't count at all.
I have a joke that I do in the show now just because I got so sick of hearing about those stories and seeing those stories. And
Yeah.
then you'll see a lot of guest entertainers. "All right, one more, let's do one more. Everybody on your feet." And then the cruise director shows up because I only watched the last 2 minutes. So I have a joke
Right.
in my show that says, probably about 15 minutes before the show, I go, "No need for a standing ovation. You can do that at the end of the show. That's when the cruise director watches." And half the audience who are regular cruisers laugh at that and they remember. And
Yeah.
I go, "Subliminal messaging." And then I just kind of glaze over it. So it's taking an old joke that
Yeah. Yeah.
it's a bit hacky and I think updating it a tiny bit. But
That's
I've
funny.
had comedians come up to me and be like, "Can I use that?" I'm like, "Sure, man, go for it."
Dude, there's two acts in Vegas right now. Very well-known acts in Vegas. One of them literally has ushers holding up signs that say please stand, right? And then has other people who are ushers like come in low and get in front of the audience, and then at the end of the show stand up in front of them. Like they're literally like down squat in a squat position in front of the booths in Vegas, and then at the end of the show they stand up so that the audience thinks, oh, everyone's standing up. And then
Does it
another,
rhyme with Schmavid Flopperfield?
I cannot confirm or deny. Also, another act in Vegas, the very well-known act, uh, tells everybody, you know what? I want to thank the troops. Stand up if you're here. You know, let's stand up for the troops, kind of thing. And everybody stands up to applaud the servicemen and women. And then he takes a selfie video to post on Instagram, like he got another standing ovation.
Which is a little bit treason's not the right word, but
Stolen valor, isn't that what they call
yeah, I think in some ways it's like really that's extra weird. I know who you're talking about too, because that's
it?
one thing to like pretend, hey, everybody get up on your feet, but it's another thing to take the sacrifice of people's
Right.
lives. You're like,
Right.
I'm gonna exploit this.
I don't, and the thing too is, I think that this is why it's important for entertainers to like go to other shows and not just do your own thing, because I think that I suppose if you were in an environment where it was really important for everyone to stand up, you know, because you were whatever for whatever reason, you would just figure out tricks and tips to do that. And after a while, you forget how weird it is that it doesn't. But I feel like audience members know they're being manipulated. They know it's not real.
It's the Jerry Seinfeld joke of just like anytime you're at a show, you're looking at someone starts the standing out, you look into your left, your right, you're like, we doing this?
Are we
You know, nobody
standing?
wants to.
Yeah.
There are a
Yeah.
few times when I've like been on my feet, you know, like, oh, that was amazing, or that
Yeah.
moved in some capacity.
Yeah.
Most of the time, you're like, that was good. Can I go home now? We're past the 90-minute mark.
Oh, yeah. I've told you, I struggle to think of like stories that you don't already know, but I talked to you about when we were in Branson because you did that gig as well. And there was there was the moment that we went to watch a show that someone else was doing. They invited us. They gave us tickets, and the family was there. And Katie is like dying because it's the worst comedy show you've ever seen. It's like it was like a I don't want to say like a hillbilly comedy show, but it was that was like the character they were doing. And at the end, it was like an hour and 20 minutes, and they had done like a big gospel number, and then they drop the American flag and everybody stands up, and then they go, we'll be back for our exciting second half after this brief intermission. And Katie turned to me and went, you've got to be kidding me. And we couldn't leave because we were invited by one of the people in the cast. And
Oh no.
it was incredible. It was like a 2.5 hour extravaganza of hack material.
Oh God. Yeah, you love it when people don't know that. I went and saw Wicked opening night, and at the very end, the people behind us are like, you gotta be kidding me, come on. I didn't know it was a part one.
Oh, the movie.
But like had Wicked shirts on and everything. It was like, how did you miss this? You're coming for a 6-hour experience?
That's so funny. They were mad it was not, they didn't finish the story.
Yeah, it was the epitome of oblivious Midwest people. It was fantastic.
You know, we went to the movie last night and I was very surprised because we went going, this is going to be awful. We went and saw the Minecraft movie with Jack Black. I went into it going, there's no way this is going to be good. I was very entertained.
Oh, good.
It was like one of those movies that like once you settle into like, oh, this is what it is, then you just have fun.
I think that's what the Sonic movies are too. There's a lot of movies that in that style you're like, story-wise, none of this makes sense. But then again, no movie. I just said this on stage. I was like, I just rewatched Deadpool 3. Nothing in that makes any
No.
gosh darn sense, but it's fun. We're having a good time.
Sometimes we just need a little fun. Silly. This is why I go back to our week at the castle. Silly fun time. Like it was like, yeah, this is great.
I think all the stories have been told. We're just at this point of like, main character, main thing, inciting action. Okay, moving on. Let's
Right. All right, we
entertainment.
know that couple's going to end up together, and we know that guy's probably not going to make it, you know?
Yeah. It's I don't it's hard to surprise audiences, but I think you can still entertain them these days, which is good.
There's a movie coming out that I could not believe got made. It is a cartoon movie about sneakers. Have you seen the trailer for it?
No.
It's crazy, man. It's about sneakers, like people who like, sneakerheads and people who collect sneakers and all that. But it's an animated cartoon, and the sneakers are real. Like they're
So it's
alive.
like stop motion?
Oh, I'm sorry, they're not real. They're real. I mean, they're like
They're living.
alive. They're sentient. They're sentient sneakers. And so, like, there's one you find out because there's a pair of sneakers, and the guy takes the shoes off, and the guy walks away and closes the door, and one of the sneakers is like in it, like a dude's voice, and he's like, "Oh man, he put his foot inside me. That's gross." And then the other one's a lady, and she goes, "I like him." What the heck, man?
Is
What's
this a
going on?
children's movie?
Is it what?
Is this a children's movie?
Yeah, I think it's like an animated shoe movie.
What do they say about big feet?
I think that that's that's one of the problems is like anything that gets made just gets made by the people who created it, right? Like people aren't buying ideas anymore, but if you have money and an idea, you
Yeah.
can get something made.
Yeah, and I've heard a few people talk about it, especially now with everything slowing down in LA. They're just making stuff that will guarantee money, and there are no
Right.
risks taken anymore.
Right.
Yeah, what IP do we own? What can we make? And it's a weird time for, any of that business. So hopefully it's coming back a little bit, but we'll see.
But here's what I do know is that we had a lot of fun being goofy this week.
I think there's something. Well, it's funny. Like we got booked because we have a friend who's an illusionist, and to do the big room, you need an illusionist friend because
Yeah.
they don't. That's a hard spot to fill because there's less and less people that do that these days.
Well, it's hard work too, man. Like I was watching them set up and like we were helping them tear down and everything. It's like this is like I remember doing illusions, and you guys still occasionally will like do an illusion if
I do one illusion that fits in my suitcase. If it doesn't fit in my suitcase, I'm not doing it.
yeah. It was fun though. I mean, I forget how fun some of those big tricks can be, you know?
Yeah, especially in Magic, it's so, with I'm rewatching Arrested Development, like with the everybody kind of sees it as like a Joe Bluth type thing, but Chase and Kaylee ended with a great levitation, and it's just like I guarantee you, nobody walked out of there knowing how that worked.
No.
Like
No.
having and he showed it to me as like I knew kind of how it worked, but then when you see how it works, you're like, wow, that's even more impressive.
Yeah. Well, and it's the thing that people are hoping they see when they come to a magic show, right? You're hoping you see someone float. You're hoping you see someone get cut in half. And most of the time, they're coming to see you or I, and they're leaving disappointed.
Yeah. I've heard many people at the bar after. I always like to listen by the Palace Bar, listen to people's conversations, and they walk out of there, a bit disappointed because they didn't see the big box things. They didn't see the stuff they thought. They're like, oh, that was good, but it was more funny than it was magic. And
Yeah.
especially going to a place called the Magic Castle, like you need to blow minds and you need to
Right.
show them something they're not going to see on YouTube.
Right. In the words of Jack Goldfinger, the booker at the castle, legend in magic, it's not the comedy castle.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Although, when I get on stage, I just go, what joke do I want to tell?
Yeah, and you were doing a solid 5 minutes of material up top. But
Poor Nick was so kind to me. He's like, why don't you just cut out that whole routine? We don't need it.
Yeah, we were going overtime by the end of the week, and
We were.
I did that. It's fun. I'm just so lazy. I did that yesterday, my second show. I'm like, there's less people here. I'll still almost hit 45 minutes, so I cut a routine.
I remember starting out like when it went from like I do a bunch of tricks to I'm going to design a show. You start to go like, I'll never get to an hour's worth of material. And now someone will be like, okay, we want you to do 45 minutes. And you're like, well, what am I going to do? Because I don't want to take out stuff that I'm loving right now. It's just,
Yeah.
it's so weird how, I don't know, I guess that's with any industry. Like you think you'll never get to a certain spot and then you get to that spot and you're like, oh, I can't even imagine not, not having too much stuff.
Yeah, I'm in that spot too, where I'm at the point now where it's like I really just want to come on with these ships with like a backpack and my, roller case carry on. And I've done it before. I'm like, this
Yeah.
is great. But there are still like two things I do that require me checking a bag.
Yeah.
And you're just like, they're good and they work, and it's like you need to. Especially on like this industry, it's different. Nobody's coming. I'm trying to figure out what the joke is right now, but I was writing today about thank you all for coming to the show. I know you didn't come to see me. You just came to dinner, and I'm what's on the menu tonight. And
that's
I'm glad
funny.
you're sampling magic. But I don't know what the joke is, but it's there's something to that of just like you need to wow them right away and get them on your side. You can't just half-ass it.
That's funny. Yeah. Yeah. You came to dinner.
This is this is from a conversation I had with David Gabay a year ago at the Chicago Magic Lounge. We were both just talking. It's very similar to doing the Castle, very good audiences, but like nobody walks out of there remembering your name. They just go, "That was a good magic show," or "That was a good."
Right.
We'll have to go out there, and it's similar.
At the Castle too. I mean, we've talked about this, but like the headliner is the building. People are coming to see the building.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
What if okay, so for your joke, what if it was like you're just here having dinner and I'm the mariachi band, or like you know what I mean, like there's got to be something where they didn't order it but it came.
I'm the mariachi band or something about them just overextending their welcome.
That's funny.
Who you really want to just play one song, but is probably gonna do a solid 45 minutes. I don't know.
I struggle, man. It gets harder and harder to do the self-deprecating stuff because I feel like I don't know. I feel like the more we talk about like our feelings in society and the more we open up about like mental health and all of that, I notice when I start to do self-deprecating, the audience is like, "Aw," like
yeah.
Like it's almost like I wonder if you wrote that like Anthony Jeselnik had that bit about like no one came here to see me, but you're all gonna leave talking about me.
Yeah, I guess like that's kind of how I see it. I don't see that one as self-deprecating, but I do have a lot of stuff in the act that needs to get changed because it is.
I'm just saying like with this joke, like you could go the other direction, right? Like sometimes you go to a restaurant and they'll like just bring you out like, oh, the chef made this thing. This is like on the house kind of thing. And it's like the thing you leave happy about. Like maybe there's a way to get to it like that. Like
I'm the surprise birthday cake or something like that.
Yeah. There's got to be something like that where you're making a joke because you have the joke about they didn't ask for it, but also you want them to know it's going to be good. You're going to be happy,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. There's another podcast you should go on where they work out jokes.
You're famous enough. You have enough follower. I'm not famous enough for that.
Oh no. I feel like the only way you end up on podcasts now is like you run into somebody at the airport lounge and talk to them, and then they're like,
it happened to a friend of ours recently, and you're just like, oh, that's cool. And then you hear the story, you're like, oh, okay. So
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's but yeah, I agree with the self-deprecating thing. I think I'm trying to strip that too. And it's funny, yeah, my whole thing for a long time was to not be confident on stage, but I'm finding the moments that work the best now or when I'm
Yeah.
the most confident. I'm doing this whole bit with a puppet singing, and it's like
Yeah.
you have to be uber confident for that to work, or else it's gonna fall flat on its face.
Oh, for sure, man. Well, in that's the thing that every audience member is looking for from an entertainer. Like they came to a show, and most of the time, unless it's like someone who's a fan of yours and they know your stuff, like they don't know who's going to be there. They just hope the person is comfortable and is in control because they're not in charge of what's happening. So they want to know you're in charge of it, right?
Yeah.
Your character, like especially with your silent stuff, is so fun and quirky that I think there's something to be said about if when you speak, it's like a little different from that guy. Do you know what I mean?
That was like a Mr. Bean type thing where you're talking kind of like with a weird voice.
No, I'm not saying for you to talk weird. I'm saying I like that, like, you have these moments in your show where we're getting to experience the magic. You know what I mean? Like stuff's happening to you and it's like, "Oh, this is just a nice guy doing like cool weird stuff." And then I think it's fine if when you speak all of a sudden you're like the confident guy. I don't know. I think there's a weird juxtaposition to that, you know?
Yeah, and
Like,
that was the first time I had done full silent in a long time. And yeah, I really, I'm like, oh, I really enjoy doing this. So you can't really do it that much on ships. So like, I'm putting in a silent bit, two silent bits tonight for my shows, and I'm just like, I don't know if it'll work, but I kind of want to. I haven't done it in a while, so I want to put it back in.
okay.
Um, yeah, but it depends on the context of the location too. Like,
Right.
because you had so much dialogue in the show, and then Chase was talking, it evened it
People,
out, so that
people,
stuff
people
works.
need a break.
Yeah, I mean it's uses a different sense. It's the Penn and Teller thing of like the second Teller walks out after Penn gives a monologue, like everybody's going to zoom into that because
Right. They lean
nothing's
in.
happening audibly, you know.
Well, this is like when we do, I mean, we both do comedy clubs, and for years, I know we've talked about this, like feeling like the imposter syndrome of being the one variety act on a comedy show.
Yeah,
But then you start to realize the audience loves it.
yeah.
Like you're not the weird thing that doesn't fit. You're the break in the everything that feels the same, you know?
Yeah, and especially now, it's like I used to, and we've talked about this a little bit of just I used to be kind of you have your great line of, if I was just one suitcase funnier.
Hmm.
But I think we've both kind of evolved to the point of like, no, like it's our superpower. We have this thing that frankly, not many people can do. And now there's so many stand-ups now in stand-up. It just seems so oversaturated. And
Right.
I can't even imagine saying I'm gonna start that. I've told that my brother does stand up, and I've told him that. I'm like, I couldn't do what you're doing. Like, I can't
Right.
go to an open mic at a washer dryer place and there, a laundromat
Yeah.
and go do stand up and walk away from that feeling like I've succeeded. And it's like, no, like, I don't know. It's just like, it's just my perspective on the whole thing.
Yeah, it is weird that yeah, it seems like more people are getting out of magic and more people are getting into comedy. And maybe we're in a good place, Nick.
I think just keep doing I mean, your philosophy has always been just hang in there, until enough people drop out.
Just keep doing. I mean, everybody who you hear these stories of show business or any industry,
Sure.
like you have people when they tell their story, it always starts with struggle, 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 struggle. Then this thing happened, and all the people I was doing it with are now doing great, and it's like, well, it's just got to be how it works, you know. It's that Steve
And
Martin thing of like the
it's
people that do
never
this are the ones that wanted to do it more than anything,
for sure. But there is something to um there's gonna be ups and downs. Like
Oh
there
yeah,
is door opens, everything's fine. And it's amazing how many times you can be told that and then you start experiencing that. And you're like, oh yeah, that's true. That's a real
right.
thing. You're just because you succeed at this, it doesn't mean everything's, going to be super easy from now on.
Well, there's that. I mean, there's that idea that, social media, everyone's showing like the highlight reel and everything, which I feel like the world is just starting to grasp onto. But as entertainers, we realize it's always been that way for us. Like you always only see the great stuff people are doing, and you don't realize like, oh, the commercial they're on, they got paid 6 months ago and they haven't booked anything since then.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. Wow, this is like the old About to Break podcast we've turned into.
I know. I felt like we slipped into it, which is good. But I was thinking about that yesterday. I have a thing I built for my ending, and it took me a while to kind of finagle it and get the little mechanism working. And it's literally like a 5-second thing in my show. And it's such a metaphor for the entire career of like putting all this time and effort into this tiny little moment into the show that needs to look effortless. Otherwise, it doesn't work.
I told you today, I texted you because I was supposed to get some stuff edited and I didn't. And I always overestimate how much I'm going to achieve, like while I'm on the road gigging. But this ties into what you're saying here. Like, so people would have no idea how much time you just sit and think about what you're going to do when you get on stage. Like I'm sure this week you've been on this ship for 6 days. And you're gonna do your show, but like, I don't know. Like I'll go and I'll be like, oh, I'm gonna have a bunch of time. I'm gonna get stuff done. But it's really hard to like go from working on taxes to get on stage and be fun. Like you have to kind of just stay in this zone. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, it comes in. It definitely comes and goes. It's funny. It was weird. I had so many days of just rest and between our sets and doing this because they put me on at the end of the week. That I walked on stage. I'm like, oh, this is what it's like to have a clear head and have words coming out of your mouth correctly. I'm especially with ships. I'm so used to being on the first day and being sleep deprived from traveling and
Right.
Yeah, so you learn. It's funny how you learn how to operate at like 30% battery level.
Oh yeah. Yeah. What if you learn? Because I mean, there's people listening to this who they might find it interesting, the entertainer talk, but they're just trying to figure out in their own life with their own job. What have you found out recently, or how are you dealing with like just going from busy, busy, busy to like I've noticed you've gotten really good at like when you're home, like when you're not on stage, you're not on. Like how have you kind of unlocked that way of like transitioning from the work to the home life quickly?
It's easier when you can look at your calendar and be busy down the line. I can be like, all right, I'm busy next week. I can relax this week.
Right.
Still, I'm getting better at it, but it's still not easy. And my wife will tell you that I still have a long way to go. But I don't know. You have this idea in your head that you got to be working hard, and if you can't, I don't allow myself to relax. The only time I'm truly ever relaxed is after like a 4-show night at the castle, and I can sit on the couch, have an old fashioned, and watch
Yeah.
Always Sunny or something. I get about 30 minutes where nothing worries. I don't have to worry about the trash. I don't have to worry about the dishes, just stuff in my house that I would normally like need to take care of, or work stuff. And I'm like, how do I get to do that without nearly killing myself?
Right.
Nightly.
Right. Giving yourself like the permission to be, I don't know. I think because we work for ourselves, you realize no one else is working for you. You know what I mean? Like nobody else is making sure that you book enough stuff to pay the bills. So there's kind of always that humming in the background of like, I got to keep the next thing going. But whenever I can like just go like, look, everything's fine. Just be in this moment. It gets way better,
Yeah, and I think, I mean, happiness is a choice. It's easier. I was thinking this last night after my first show. I'm like, oh, I'm in a good mood. That was a good show. This is fun. Great. Oh, I'm so happy. Happiness is the choice. And then you're like, the day before, I'm texting my wife. I'm like, I'm so depressed. I need to be off the ship. And in that moment, it's like, I can't choose to be happy. I don't want to be happy right now. I just want to be miserable for a few hours. I think that's okay too. There's nothing wrong with that.
I was talking to a buddy the other day who was talking about this idea of like suffering and, you know, pain. And I was like, you know what? I'm realizing more and more that disappointment is just wishing things were different than they are. That's it. That's all disappointment is wishing things were different than they are. And if you can accept that things are the way they are, which means sometimes you don't want to work, and sometimes you really want to hustle, and sometimes you just need a nap. Like, when you cannot fight against that, but just go, okay, as long as that's not happening every day, you know, and I'm not just using that as an excuse to not get stuff done, but like to realize, hey, right now, this is what needs to exist right now, is I need to go watch a dumb movie with my family and just laugh, you know, like.
Yeah. It's hard for me not to compare myself to people I know who I perceive to be lazy. So that's more so on me than them. It's work I have to do of like, well, I don't want to be like that person because they're never going to do anything, or they're going to just complain that stuff didn't happen but didn't try. And that's kind of how I've always viewed humanity, and that's something I have to work on as a person of like, well, just let them. That's who they are. That's fine. Let them be themselves. You don't need to react to that. You don't need to take that personally.
Well, and just reminding ourselves that like we don't know what's going on in someone else's head or their life. You know, like there's just no way to know.
Yeah,
I think it's a Ram Dass thing of like, if I was them, I'd be them. Like,
for sure. Yeah,
you know,
yeah, that's 100%. And there is something I've been trying to do it's hard not to like notice everything, especially from the Midwest. It's in your genetics to look at something and call it out. It happens with every time I go home, and I notice everybody around me does it. It's really funny. But on ships, I can, in certain days, I can just kind of go through the buffet and make zero eye contact and not look at other people or look at other situations and just kind of be kind of invisible. And there's so much freedom in that. And it's funny. It's a weird LA thing. I've noticed people ignoring other things, but there is advantages to it at times where you're just like, I'm not going to react to this. I'm going to ignore all these triggers that could give me anxiety or put me in like a spiral in my brain of like, well, this is happening, so this could happen. And you know I'm just kind of going off on a tangent right now, but that's something I've tried the last couple of days on the ship, and I just kind of being in just a zone where you're not noticing other people. And
that's so good, man. I love you always come back with these insights, especially because when you're working ships, you're working while no one else is working. Like, you're the one person working on vacation, you know what I mean? And so it's interesting. I feel like you notice different things about how humans interact and what they do when you're a little more alert while people are relaxed.
Yeah, people turn on. I mean, living in Orlando too, it's just another great people watching location. Just watching how you see it on ships too, just how dumb people can become because they turn off their reasoning. I'm on vacation mode,
Right.
Oh, I don't think that necessarily means they're dumb people. It just means they're like,
no, this is the Vegas factor. It's like, how do people make these terrible decisions in Las Vegas? It's like, because they've told themselves, I don't have to think about anything while I'm here.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know if that comes from I've really like thought a lot about this because I observe it every day. Like, does it come from like having a job where like your whole goal in life is to not be working, or to like get to vacation or get to retirement? Because you see that here. I don't know. I think if anything, it's proven. I've worked on different lines, and you see like it's not an old person. It's not getting old. It's a letting your mind kind of rot type thing of just having nothing to to keep you going. So I think
Right.
there should, even if you're retired, you should always be doing something that you would enjoy and
I
interacting
know.
with.
I know. Again, I was at that event where there's like all these folks who are retired and they did the thing they wanted to do. But yeah, you got to have something you're still living for. You know what I mean? Otherwise, it's like, golly, man, what are we doing?
Yeah, for sure.
Luckily, to prevent that, I've made sure I'll never be able to retire. Oh, well,
Well,
dude,
after last week's stock market fun,
I know.
most people can't retire.
Do, do, do. Oh my gosh. I know you've got to go set up for a show, but we could do breaking news right now. We don't know the actual date yet, but we've just found out that we're taking our 2-person show and we're gonna do it at a Comedy Magic Club in Hermosa Beach.
Yeah, look for that. Hopefully we'll do it sometime this summer or fall. But yeah, we're gonna take that, and then this is way down the line, but in January we're doing our 2-person show at a lovely theater in Port Huron, Michigan. I've performed there a couple of times and they're great. The place always sells out. It's fantastic. So yeah, I don't even think you can get tickets for that, but look for that.
We'll let people know when it's time. And if you're somewhere
Yeah, I
you
think
want Nick and I to come, let us know.
it would be fun to just book a few little tours, because we've done shows together even before the cast. Like we did that lovely Franklin Theater show that was super fun.
That was great. That was super fun.
More of that stuff.
Yeah, it's so much fun. I get excited when I'm on stage and I know that you're going to be coming out and we get to do something together. You know what I mean? It's summer camp. It's summer camp, baby.
Well, we are in very selfish careers, so it's this and just solo endeavors. So the second you get to work with other people, it's like, oh, I'm not alone anymore.
I'm not afraid anymore. Was that?
I was just gonna quote you, Home Alone.
The way you said that. Do you hear me? I'm not. Oh, it's the opposite.
No,
I'm gonna live alone. He says.
Yeah. Oh no, that you're thinking of the scene upstairs. I'm thinking of the scene outside.
Oh yeah, I'm not afraid anymore.
And then he sees the man with the shovel and runs inside.
Oh yeah, it does the scream. Which is ironic because that's what we both do when we are alone on the road. We realize we're alone and scream.
Just a lot of Kevin McAllister action happening.
Anything you want to plug? Anything you want to tell people about other than our shows we're going to be doing?
Nope. You can follow me on PayPal.
Follow you on PayPal. Nick's been doing posting more videos on the YouTubes and the Instagrams. Go watch them. They're freaking hilarious.
Thank you. I post on YouTube more so now because YouTube gives me money.
That's good. It's good.
Not much money, but it's or Instagram can give you no money.
I know there was a minute where Instagram was paying. It was like, oh, this is exciting, and then
this is great, and then
just take it away.
But I think YouTube just changed the rules too, so they I don't think they're gonna be paying as much anymore.
Oh, well, good to know.
But don't be banking on those shorts money.
Oh my gosh. Well, friends, stay tuned. We will tell you more about what Nick and I are up to soon. Buddy, thanks for doing this. And I can't wait till we get to be in person again. We're each in town for one day this week. But
yeah. We're doing as you would say, we're doing the thing.
Doing the things, buddy. Okay, you have a show tonight. Go make people happy.
I'll try.
Love you, man. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, the theme song came. Here we go.
I feel like I need to be in middle school right now.
I know. Be in middle school?